Hi, I'm Bob from Plugable Technologies. What I'd like to show you today is how you can adjust the settings of a display connected to your system with a VGA cable. Now, a little background for those of you who are not familiar, there's a couple different types of cables that can be used to connect a display to a desktop or a laptop system. And VGA is one of the oldest standards that's still in use. A VGA cable carries an analog video signal. And in some cases, that causes the image on the display to not quite look as it should. What I want to show you is how you can check or change these settings if need be. So let's jump right in. What you see right now is the Dell U2412M display on my desk, and it's connected to a laptop off camera via a VGA cable. But I don't know if you can see, we've got a problem. In the lower left-hand portion of the screen, the start button is missing. It's cut off. And if you look on the border over here, there's actually a small black bar about the width of my fingertip where the display ends and the bezel begins. Like the whole display is shifted over to the left. Well, how do we check and change that setting? I'm going to use the buttons on the front of the display to bring up what's called the on-screen display, or OSD, basically a menu of different options. Once I wake that up, I'm going to select the menu option, and I'm going to use the arrow keys to scroll down to my display settings. Now, it's important to note that these types of display settings are only going to appear when this display is being used with a system with a VGA cable. With other types of cables, such as DVI, HDMI, or DisplayPort, that's a digital signal that prevents this type of adjustment from being necessary. So actually my menu went to sleep, so let me come back to that. Go back to display settings. Now I can see here that some of these settings don't look quite right in terms of the horizontal position. If I select that setting and change it and adjust it, you can see that the whole image is sliding back into place. So now I can see my start menu and there's no border along the edge of the screen. Alright, so that's a manual adjustment. Is there any way to do this automatically? Well, in some cases there is. Let me go back. I'm going to purposely set things back to the way they were, that is to say incorrect. And in a lot of cases, a VGA display will have an option called Auto Adjust that tries to fix this for you automatically. So if I use that option, see, the display has automatically righted itself. I can see the start button on the left-hand side, and there's no more black border on the right. I can get out of the menu here. So just a quick refresher, when using a VGA display, sometimes the display settings will need to be adjusted so that the entire image is shown on the display. If that needs to happen, you can access the display's on-screen display menu and either use the auto adjust feature or the display settings option to make the necessary adjustments. Hopefully you find that useful, and thank you for watching.